Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Reinventing Beauty podcast. On today's episode, we're going to dive deep into small business, hospitality, and everything in between. We have an amazing restaurant owner from a restaurant that's one of our favorites right in our own neighborhood.
So today we're joined by Joshua Sturma. He is the owner of Hatch'd in South St. Louis. Joshua, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself and your journey with opening your own small business?
Absolutely. Thank you for having me. I appreciate it. It's always fun to talk to people about what is my passion and love, which is the restaurant industry. So
you can tell.
Yeah, thank you.
You can tell. It's amazing.
That journey began at 16. And my idol was Tony Lombardo of Lombardo's Trattoria. His family owns restaurants still since 1934. So 91 years ago, they opened their first restaurant, and I worked for their son, who opened his first restaurant in 1991 when he was 27.
Wow.
And I was 15 and a half when I first started working there, and he was like Mickey Mantle to me. You know what I mean? It was he was handsome. He was fit, drove a Cadillac, always had a pocket full of money, and I was like, wow, I really want to do that. Like how, because he was so charismatic and so just like people just loved him. He just had this like energy and aura about him that you can't help but like smile around him. He was just and I picked up on that from a really early age and noticed the importance of that within the industry and within the restaurant of like, you need that person, you need that face, you need that person that everyone recognizes the regulars when they come and go and gives them a hug and a handshake and all that. I noticed the absence of it when he wasn't there, and then I noticed like a different tone in the place, and that was the beginning. And 26 years later,
amazing.
I signed a lease for a restaurant, and it was definitely not a linear path, but
I'm not sure it ever is.
No. I think life is definitely curvy, and it was all those curves got me there. And I ran restaurants for other people for 15 years and opened my own. So that was a brief description of the journey. There's definitely a lot in between, but that was the beginning to the penultimate.
I think we actually met you in a different restaurant, like because
Trattoria Marcella.
Yes, we eat out. Yeah. I mean, almost every day.
Yeah.
So
I do too, and there's no shame in that. It's we got a great food city, and there's tons of good restaurants, and I know everybody can't eat at Hatch'd.
I have a little
7 days
shame in
week.
it, but I still do it.
Yeah,
I love it.
me too. Yeah,
it.
there is a little shame in the back of your mind. Like
I say it every day. I'm going to cook tonight, but I can't force myself to do it because of the experience.
Right.
And so yeah,
you got to clean and everything too. And then I often I'll buy groceries to make a meal, and then 6:30 rolls around. It's like, all right. By the time I do this, that, and the other, it's 8 o'clock. All right, let's just.
It was exactly what our evening was last night.
Yeah, that's how it goes typically. And that's like little shame if you want, but no judgment here. Trattoria Marcella, just a shout out to them. I worked there the whole year leading up to Hatch'd, and they were kind enough to let me talk about the restaurant. And without Trattoria Marcella, I don't think we're as successful early. And then,
amazing.
We did retain those guests. That was a lot of us too. But without them, I mean, I got to talk to probably 10,000 people in a year.
Yeah, that's amazing.
So, yeah.
You're not in direct competition with them.
Right.
So that helps for sure. But we probably are in there once a week.
Good.
And then, in Hatch'd as well.
Yeah.
So
you can't beat that happy hour.
And I know their happy hour is the best.
It's
fantastic.
$100 bill for 2 people to go have a great experience at that happy hour. You can't find a better experience for $100 for 2 people,
Right.
And that's what you'd spend if you get cocktails and try the apps and all that. But they're fantastic.
Great.
Legendary.
Yeah, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
I would say you're following very well in their footsteps. We don't ever pass your restaurant where there's not a line out the door, or try to get on the wait list.
Right.
And there's we're pretty easy. We'll eat wherever.
Sure.
You can put us on the curb and we'd be happy. Mm-hmm. But what were the things that you ran into right off the bat that you weren't expecting? What kind of obstacles did you run into that you felt like were challenging?
Staffing, of course.
Yeah.
Because the pandemic happened about 10 days after we signed the lease.
Oh,
So,
fun.
Crazy.
Yeah.
I didn't
and
realize that.
The whole world just shut down again. And then by Christmas, everybody and their brother had COVID again, and city government went to a standstill. So that staffing was huge in the beginning. And then just getting the word out there is not always easy in the beginning, and advertising is incredibly expensive. And when you see new places advertise, you think, man, they probably spent like $15,000 on that, and like that's a quarter of profits, potentially that you.
It's a lot of eggs.
Yeah,
I always attribute everything to haircuts. I'm like, that's a lot of haircuts. I don't know,
Yeah.
So.
Another challenge in the beginning was the eggs. The egg crisis happened about 3 months after we opened up, 4 months, where we were paying 7.5 cents for an egg when we first opened to 33.5 cents for an egg at the peak of the price. So you can't raise your prices fast enough. So that was another challenge, was to like walk a fine line between, all right, we're new. We can't alienate people by thinking that, oh gosh, it's a $17 omelet. But if I wanted to make money back then on those eggs, I would have had to charge $17, but I didn't. So
no, you guys are really fair. I mean,
we took it. Yeah.
Pricing's great.
Thank you. We took a hit on those, but in order to build our brand and keep things going, that was it. I'd say staffing and then just awareness were like two of the big early challenges, because of the way the world was going, and then like not everybody was eating out by the time we opened, and there was still a lot of like full blown mask wearing like everywhere. So like there was still this air of, so that was. That was a challenge too, to like get people coming, and so many sleepless nights worrying about a lot of stuff.
Crazy.
I know Nicole.
Those are just a few of them, but and then are people going to like the turkey omelet? Like
right?
exactly. Another stuff
like
that I was terrified about, but.
Well, I know Nicole mentioned, we drive by there. You're close to our home, so we drive by there often, and you got a line out the door all the time. So what are some of the tricks you're doing now?
It's all about the people. I mentioned the staffing challenges in the beginning, so I would have to modify the menu a little bit or choose not to want to do certain things because I knew I didn't have the personnel that could execute it. So what's been our biggest strength and our biggest factor for us and able to move forward is like aces in places. Like we have some really, really top-notch talent at some really important positions.
I love that. I love the way you worded that. That's a great.
It's
a great analogy.
I came from a little bit of the corporate world. I worked for OGHG Hospitality, the people that own the Shack and the Tavern and the Corner Pub and Grill. I worked for them for a long time, and including the Shack. And without that journey, there's no way I own Hatched. But they instill a lot of those like corporate acronyms and things like that, and little cliche sayings and stuff. But it's really, really true. If you want your best people in the best positions on your busiest days,
right?
You want your weakest links, on your weaker shifts and things like that. So it's just about the team. Like it's the people that work there now have given us the ability to deliver our vision so much better. And that's the reason for the success. Because once they come, they always come back because they thought the food was amazing. They felt the warmth in the atmosphere. They love the team. They love the vibe. So, but I owe it all to the people that work there for real. I mean, I can put people in a position to succeed, and if they don't succeed, that's not necessarily their fault or mine. It's just like, hey, this is what we're doing. Love it or leave it. And people have loved it.
It was really funny yesterday. It was interesting because we ate there yesterday, and somebody brought our food out, and what they said was, "So who ordered the best chicken and waffles in St. Louis?"
Nice.
And she said, "You don't believe me? Look it up on Google." And I mean, I do have a little shame in saying I ordered that because I don't typically eat that way, but it sounded so good. And we had just come from a week on vacation where we had been eating all kinds of things. And so I was just excited to eat something that I didn't normally eat.
Yeah, something a little off the beaten path for your normal choice.
It was so delicious.
Thank you. That's that's a dish that doesn't require a lot of nuance or anything to it.
Yeah,
We take
it was yummy.
equal parts maple syrup and sriracha, dip the chicken in that, and throw it on a waffle. I mean, it's very straightforward. But
It's
we have
great.
bacon fat in the syrup too that comes with that.
I'm sure it was extremely low calorie.
Yeah.
I'm not feeling any residuals from that today.
No?
I'm sure.
Sure.
One of the other things we heard while we were in your space that I thought was just such a great statement for a server to make. There was somebody that was going to be seated at a table. They didn't want a high top. They wanted a low top. And so they were waiting to move to the low top. And the server for the high top area said, "Oh man, you're going to miss out on the best service in whatever she said in St. Louis." And then they said, "Is that true?" So you guys do a great job of keeping it super cool, very casual.
Thank
and
you.
people there's no pretentiousness to it.
Thank
So
you.
it's just comfortable to be there. But I've been to a lot of places that are comfortable to be there, but then the service is like,
Right.
the food's good, so you go back and it's comfortable.
lot
But
of-
you don't leave happy.
Right.
You don't leave feeling like, oh, I want to do that for somebody else.
That was a great experience.
Yeah. We
like,
talk about the experience all the time at the
experience
salon.
is a word that I use with my team a lot. Is about it's people come to a restaurant for an experience. You said it before we even were talking about restaurants and podcasts. You said you want that experience.
Right.
And that's what it is. It's that feeling, it's that warmth. Everybody has good food. Most places have good atmosphere, music. There's holes in the walls and, whatever else and everything in between. But it's how you feel after you leave a place that, they appreciated the dollars I spent in there. They want me to come spend more. They'll remember me when I come back and they'll,
Right.
hey, you got the chicken and waffles last time. Or, they remember what you drink and that kind of stuff.
Now you're
And
great
that's-
at that. I mean, your
that's-
leadership is
Thank you.
is really, really stellar.
I was led by some great leaders leading up to that. So the guy that I mentioned, corporate-wise, he worked for Panera, and he was
crazy.
another
Okay.
one of my mentors, John Fogarty, who is co-owner of the OGHG Hospitality Group, and he molded my mind in such a way that it really changed the way I thought about this industry and gave me a different perspective as far as what's important, because he's a super numbers guy as far as bottom line and cut and dry, but it was the cut and dry portion of it. It was if the person sucks, they don't work there anymore.
Right.
If we really want them, then we might pay a little extra for somebody or something like that. And it was always just clear cut decisions made in a very focused business type of way.
Not emotional.
Yeah,
not a lot of emotion to it.
Yeah, and that's I've tried to really apply that to the way that I run my business. Is sure I want some emotion, I want to be, I definitely want to be emotionally invested in my business, which I truly am. But you can't make decisions truly based on emotion, and then you're going to start having weird shit on your menu. Prices are going to be
Exuberant,
weird on certain stuff, and you'll notice little changes in the restaurant. That's a weird decision, but so it's always all business and focused on that. Is the most important thing in a restaurant is guest retention, and a lot of owners lose sight of that, and they want to get you once, squeeze the most out of you for that one visit, and then you come once a year or something like that when you're going to get, so we try to create an experience that's affordable and makes you want to come back. So thank you for noticing the good stuff that we do.
No, I mean, it's so obvious. It would be impossible to not notice it.
Thank you.
And probably especially heightened for us because we own a small business as well.
Yeah,
and
which
focuses are
is
similar.
customer based as well.
If you're in
there's
service,
great salons all over town,
Right.
And there's enough people in town for them to be busy. But why do they go back to the Gillicks again and again and again? Is because of how they feel.
It's so funny because we've really noticed that trend even in the reviews that we get.
Yeah.
Guests will repeatedly say, everyone on the team, on the team. And so
Yeah.
we love that. We love when they give a shout out to one person in particular.
Sure.
But usually they, at some point in that review, include that, boy, everyone wanted to make sure they were taken care of. And that's
Yeah.
really, I think, what makes us survivers. I don't know
Yeah.
how people survive small business anymore,
Right.
especially service, because, or service oriented, our payrolls are high.
Yeah.
I mean, we have to do a lot to make a profit or to see a
You
profit.
need a lot of people there to execute what you're doing because you want to provide that experience. And if there's not enough personnel, that means someone's doing two things.
Right.
So they're sweeping when the front door opens, or they're,
Right.
they're answering phones or whatever. Like, no, people want to come in, and when they're, going to spend upwards of $200 for a
Right.
beauty day, they want that $200 worth. If they didn't want that, they'd go to Great Clips.
Yeah, for sure.
And there's nothing wrong with Great Clips. Great Clips cuts a great hair. They got,
it's all a market.
exactly. Yeah.
So.
And there's, people get their hair cut at Great Clips, and I'm one of them more often than not.
Oh, no.
I don't have a lot of hair. I don't have a lot of hair,
Right.
So it's like, But yeah, you guys, I mean, in the beauty industry, it's very, very similar, except y'all are
Agreed.
serving hair and we're serving food, but it's almost identical. Big hellos, big goodbyes,
Yep.
big experience when you're there, personalized. Talk about them, talk about their families, talk about their jobs and their loves and their hair color and all that kind of stuff,
Our trainings with our staff are constantly referencing, we reference restaurants all the time.
Nice.
Our experiences that we had. And then, whether it's good or bad,
yeah.
we share that with our team, and then we talk about like, hey, what do you think about that, or how would that have made you feel?
Yeah, how would
if
you
you
handle
invested? Because it's an investment for people.
Right.
They're investing in something that's going to make them feel a certain way,
Yeah.
or their expectation is that. Yeah.
Yeah, they being my team, are always just fantastic about that from the beginning. When you walk in the door, it's just like you feel it instantly at a place.
Great.
And yeah, so that's I haven't been to your salon, but I can't wait to come, and I will sure feel that as soon as I walk in.
I hope so. I
Yeah,
hope
come
it's a
check
good
us
day.
out.
Yeah, I will. I will.
So Joshua, when things don't always go well, because owning a small business, anybody that owns a small business knows this.
Yeah.
We go through it every day sometimes. When things don't go exactly how they're planned, what do you do?
You just adapt and react, because if you're focused on that itself, then I feel like your energy is a little bit misdirected. So it's like on a situation by situation basis, try and isolate what's wrong that day. Like, is it systemic? Is it hour by hour? Is it minute by minute? That's the first information you need to figure out.
That's 3 really great points to look at. Is it systemic?
Mm-hmm.
Is it something that just happened today because somebody was sick or called, whatever it was?
Right.
Or is it truly a breakdown? We call it a breakdown in the system. We're like,
Yeah.
there's a breakdown, there's a
Yeah,
breakdown.
you call it doomsday,
exactly.
whatever you want to call it. But it's it's important to figure out how big the problem is, how often it's happening,
Right.
who it's happening with, but when things do go wrong, the best way is to coach and coach that behavior, or coach that attitude, or coach that system. Like, these are the
Right.
systems that we have in place. There's 5 steps of service. You miss one, you failed 20% of your job. You miss 2, you failed 40% of your job. You talk
That makes
to
it really factual too,
Yeah,
when you're
you can-
addressing it with somebody.
you can give somebody some like black and white, as far as, okay, like, you think you're doing a good job, but no, statistically you're failing, and this is why. So it's like a case by case basis as far as when things aren't going well. So whether it's a vendor or something like that, or whether it's a guest, just picking up the rocks and finding out exactly what the problem is first before you overreact or
Right.
underreact, or react moderately when you should have reacted aggressively, or you react calmly when you should have reacted moderately. Just figuring out the cracks. But thing about it is, cracks in the pavement is another one of those like corporate things that they would always stress, that if you don't address the cracks, they will continue to spread, and then they will eventually become sinkholes, which you cannot fix.
Yeah.
And that's when you talk about people don't come back, and so like an example, while we're talking on the same thing about the egg prices earlier,
Right.
had I reacted too aggressively to try and meet my margins to make sure that I was maintaining the same level of profitability that I wanted to from my original business plan, I would have lost hundreds, potentially thousands or dozens or however many, even if it was just dozens, I would have lost those people. But other businesses didn't maybe react in the same way, and they did lose those people. So it's you got to just be really, really careful when you're in complete control of something. That's the decision that's going to be made. That's how that person is going to feel when you talk to them, or that's, you know, this is the reaction that you want versus the reaction that you get. So it's you got to, it's case by case basis, and do your diligence. And before we talked about emotional business decisions and emotional decisions. So don't let, you know, your reaction to failure be based on emotion.
Right.
Let it be cut and dry, black and white, 20%, whatever. Yes, no, A, B. It's very clear. Like, we're not solving the energy crisis at a restaurant.
We say that all the time.
We're serving food.
Okay,
we're cutting hair.
Exactly,
you know,
exactly.
We're estheticians or whatever we're doing. It's not the end of the world.
All we have to do is leave people better.
That's it.
It's so much. It's so. I'm like, stop. It doesn't have to be complicated.
That's
you know.
It. Yep.
I'm curious, do you use social media to grow your business?
Absolutely.
So you feel like that's had a huge effect on like getting your name out, or how?
Huge.
What were a couple of your strategies?
Contacting the big influencers.
Okay. We saw that once when we were in there. That was really interesting because we were like, "Who is this girl?"
Yeah,
you know,
yeah,
so
and
that was interesting.
It's cool. It's because all of them here that I've come across and interacted with here in town, their sole focus is the promotion of small and local business, and they don't want.
It's amazing.
They don't want to be paid for it. Of course, they get their meals comped and they get free T-shirts and you know, all that kind of stuff. But these people aren't making like physical money, you know. So they do it out of the love of their heart. They all have jobs. Mary eats STL, sells insurance. Whitney in the city works in finance. Those are just a couple right off the top. I don't have to carry on about where they all work, but they all have normal lives outside of what they do on social media. So my big strategy was to contact as many of those people as I could. An old telemarketing sales saying was, you can't get anything to stick to the wall if you don't fling it.
Yeah.
So
just throw it out there.
Exactly. And my dad, when I was young, one of his mantras for me about like courting women was like, the worst thing they can say is no. You know, so it's not gonna break your heart if they say no. They can't break your heart if they never go on a date with you.
Right.
You know.
Right. Exactly.
So that's kind of a very similar mindset there.
Okay.
Yeah.
I love that. I think we have a lot of really good, tips and tricks, things that small business owners can definitely take away and utilize in their space and hopefully just improve their experience as a leader. It's a challenge. I mean, it's a full-time job just trying to become a better leader, I feel like. You can always improve.
One of the books that sort of molded the way that I think about this business and industry is Setting the Table by Danny Meyer. I don't know if you've ever read that, but he's a legend in the hospitality industry, and a guy that I worked for again at the OGHD Hospitality Group was super into that book. And anytime a manager was hired, it was a gift to them from the owner of the company saying, "Hey, earnestly, I want you to read this. Specifically, focus on these couple parts," and that it made a different leader out of me. That book specifically.
We did a little book read with our staff last year.
Yeah. It was the Unreasonable Hospitality.
Yeah, actually, one of my guests actually purchased that book for me, and it is in the queue.
Oh, it's a good read.
To be read, yeah.
It's good, yeah. I have a feeling it'll be very similar because his mentor was Danny.
Oh,
yeah. So it's very interesting.
Yeah, I hadn't even read like the jacket or anything like that. I read it, I saw the cover and.
We did that last year with our staff. That was our we focused on hospitality all of last year. So
we almost focus on that more than we do technical.
Taking care of. Yeah, that's more of a personalized thing with them as far as how exactly they want it. You're going to try to make it look as close to what they think their hair should look like, but ultimately, you know, when you're going to a salon like that, you're going to get a great haircut. You're not,
Right.
you know, whether it looks like the picture or whether you're going to
Right.
make the people feel better about themselves.
Yeah,
after
in our
left.
industry, they definitely say like a client will always return if they had a great it's about
Yeah.
how you made them feel.
That's it.
So if you made them feel beautiful, even if it's not technically exactly what
Yeah.
they were looking for, they'll at least give you the benefit of the doubt and come back.
Yeah,
you know,
for sure
allow
they
you to
will.
make an adjustment.
Exactly.
So,
Yep. They're a keen breed. People,
Yeah.
especially people that are spending more than the average cost for a specific service or item. Like we talked about Wrights.
Absolutely.
When you go to Wrights, is the steak that much better at Wrights than it is at, say, Tucker's? Possibly, potentially,
Right.
but why do you go to Wrights? Why do
Versus,
you get,
right.
versus Tucker's? Tucker's, it's like, hey, what do you want? Okay, bye.
right.
You know, Wrights, it's like, hey guys, good to see
No,
you.
it's-
As soon as you walk in, it's like very. Now, of course, if you don't have a reservation, they may not greet you so kindly, but it is a very, very warm and inviting place when you walk in there, and that's the key to any small business is the feeling.
Yep.
The
Absolutely.
feeling. That's why we go to Southside Hardware all the time on Hampton there, rather than go to Home Depot or Lowe's.
Right.
We're supporting local, and then they're just friendly as all get out the moment you walk in the door. I've never been greeted at Home Depot or Lowe's.
No?
Not really. No.
No,
No.
not in the same way.
No, not in that warm way, you know. Someone
So-
I'm paid to be here and say, welcome to Lowe's.
Yeah,
Right.
exactly.
That's
they
not-
used to have that position, but that's not there
I think
anymore.
that a lot of places,
Yeah.
I don't see the Walmart greeter anymore either. So
I mean, I haven't been in a store in forever because I
Right.
Instacart everything, so
Yeah,
it's like kind
I
of
think-
crazy.
I
but-
Usually
think-
it's just a police officer
Right.
there now. So.
Right.
yeah, depending on the Walmart, it might be more than one police officer too. But it's
Well-
a whole nother topic for a whole nother
yeah,
podcast.
yeah, exactly. I don't want to do that podcast. That's not a good feeling one
leave
at
that,
all.
Leave
so.
that to the people that do those kind of podcasts.
Right.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Well, I feel so grateful that you've come and shared so many. I mean, your history alone is, it becomes even more obvious why you guys are doing so well.
Thank you.
And the vibe and the energy that's created there.
I appreciate that.
But yeah, we end every podcast the same way. So I'll allow you to.
So we usually ask, how do you leave, whether it's the people, your restaurant, your employees, how do you leave things better than you found it?
To just let people know like that kindness and acceptance and welcoming still exist in a lot of places, and if I can make someone have felt that, then I think that'd be done a good thing for that day. Because there's certain demographics that don't get treated the same way when they go to places and when they shop at places, whether they've got the money or not. It's a cool thing to be able to provide somebody with something that they can take away and think, you know what, man, I really liked, that breakfast. I really liked spending my money there. And that's
awesome.
To make people feel good about what we're doing and like, okay, here's what we're selling to you and you bought it and you really loved it. Like that's a good feeling to me, to like make people feel like Hatched is a place they want to go. Like that's not something that's easy to achieve. And
No, I feel like it's a feeling for sure.
Mm-hmm.
It's definitely a feeling when you enter all the way through until
Thank you.
you leave. Whether if it's slammed in there and your food takes longer, you never feel like,
Right.
oh, I have to get out of here.
Yeah.
That's not how we've never experienced
No.
that.
Well,
So
Thank you.
Yeah,
I appreciate it.
So how do people get a hold of you? Where do they find you?
So we are at 6931 Gravelway, right in the heart of Princeton Heights in South St. Louis, about a block from Loughborough, so in the old Quincy Street Bistro location.
Yep.
Name of the restaurant, HATCHDSTL.com is the website. Hatched STL is our Instagram and Facebook, HATCHDINSTL. And if you just search Hatched Podcast, there's a couple podcasts for us out there as well. And we're open 7 to 1:30 every day and closed on major holidays. And we use the Yelp waitlist app on the weekends, which if everybody's familiar with how that works, it's super easy.
It's the best way to get in.
It really is. It's oftentimes the only way to get in.
Yes, for sure.
So yeah, that's That's pretty much a lot of the ways you can track us down and make your way there.
Well, if you're local, we highly recommend. If not, Joshua shared so many great things today. If you're a business owner or even somebody that's just in the service industry, lots that you can take and utilize to help grow your small business or your business to the next level.
Sweet. If we can enlighten just one person, we'll have done right by this podcast.
Yeah, thank you.
Hey, and
thanks so much.
Yeah, it's all about that. So
Yeah.
Thank you for having me. Cheers.
Oh my gosh, our
Our
pleasure.
pleasure.
Cheers.
Until the next conversation, guys. We'll see you later.
Bye now.